Welcome.
Welcome to Double Coverage.
Your weekly podcast for sports all year round. From the college football playoff starting in January to the winter meetings in baseball in December, we've got you covered.
Starting in
3, 2, 1.
Welcome to Double Coverage. My name is Austin Hartsfield,
I'm Matthew Hoffman.
and it's episode number 1.
Yep, number 1.
Greatest number 1 in sports history. Warren Moon?
Mine's Warren Moon, but I'm a Houston
Warren Moon?
guy.
Yeah, you are a Houston guy. I'm a San Antonio kid, not a Spurs fan though, huge Maverick fan. Favorite number 1 right now, easily Dennis Smith Jr. I mean, kid's got hops.
He's good. Can't shoot. He's
Can't-
good.
We can teach shooting.
Yogi can shoot.
Talking to you, Lonzo.
Also,
Anyway, I mean, who did you listen to growing up? This is pretty cool to be doing this, honestly.
yeah, no, I mean, it's something that, like, we basically have done, like, on ourselves, just doing it. Might as well record it.
Right.
See who likes it, right?
Yeah.
I listened to Sports Radio 610 in Houston, Rich Lord, John Lopez. They were still there when I was growing up. A bunch of the guys have moved on. Now you got Seth Payne, Mike Meltzer, Sean Pendergast. Those guys I enjoy listening to. Not Nick Wright. So glad he's gone. ESPN can have him.
Yeah, Nick Wright hates Andrew Luck, so
He's
we have a
garbage.
problem with that. I mean, growing up in San Antonio, I listened to Mike Taylor a lot. Like, anybody from San Antonio can vouch for me that Mike Taylor, if nothing else, is entertaining. And he's one of those sportscasters to where he's not biased. Like, they put a spin on it to where, like, not everything's Spurs biased.
Yeah.
That's for sure. But I used to go to sleep every night, 10 o'clock, listening to Doug Gottlieb, wake up in the mornings and watch the Dan Patrick Show. I mean, that was my favorite thing to do. Favorite team? Just so everybody knows, get that all on the table.
Yeah. So, again, I'm from Houston. So, all my teams are from Houston. The Rockets, the Astros, and the Texans. Those are my 3. I'm a homer. I'm going to admit it. I root for other teams, but those are my teams.
Yeah, we all have favorite players, at the end of the day. I mean, I'm the exact opposite of a homer. Like, I'm from San Antonio, and I hate the Spurs. Like I said, I'm a Dallas Mavericks fan, so. But besides that, like, it goes all over the map. Like, I'm a Colts fan, bad. I was Team Tank all year, still Team Tank for the Mavericks. I know that's not something that everybody wants to hear, but it's going to happen anyway, so you might as well just hop in it.
Go with it, for sure.
And then, for baseball, I'm a huge Red Sox fan. Like, again, hard to call me a bandwagon fan when they win one playoff game and they exit. Like, appreciate it,
Yeah,
Houston.
Yeah.
Thanks, Jose, for your 4 home runs.
Yeah, he's a monster. Bregman's a monster.
The whole team. But we all have our favorite players. They don't have to be on your favorite team.
No, not at all.
Yeah, well, like, growing up, I was really, like, a basketball historian. Like, that's my thing. So I love pure point guards. So Rajon Rondo, I know he screwed over my franchise and handed y'all a playoff series a couple of years ago.
You're right. You're not wrong.
But I just love watching Rondo play, especially prime Rondo.
Yeah, I hate Rondo.
Yeah, I
I
know.
hate Rondo.
It's understandable, though.
Yeah. So my favorite basketball player is Ray Allen. So close.
Oh, yeah.
Close.
It's same
Same
team.
team at one point.
Same
but,
team.
Yeah, no, dude, he's cold-blooded. He's daggered multiple teams, one of yours.
Man, Doc Rivers. Doc Rivers. He could draw up a play for Ray Allen, if nothing else, that's for sure.
But, yeah, so that's my basketball player, would be Ray Allen.
Football player?
Football player, okay, so, again, I'm a homer. All my players, of course, are on the Texans. However, I think just my favorite player that I watch outside of my team is Larry Fitzgerald. He's a monster. He's a fantasy monster. He keeps on doing it. And honestly, my mom hates him because my mom hates people with long hair.
Yeah.
And so I would always root for him just to piss her off. So
Well, that's the way it normally works, right?
Yeah.
It's like, for football, growing up, I like the little people, like, I'm a Colts fan that owns Darren Sproles jerseys. Like, at the end of the day, as weird as that sounds, for people that know me and have seen me, I'm not very tall. Not very tall. Little bit of a Napoleon complex, but that's no
You're
big
a
deal.
small guy.
Not very tall, Me and Spud Webb probably go eye to eye, which isn't an awful thing, you know. But I loved watching Austin Collie growing up just because, number one, he ran such good routes. And
Clean.
who doesn't love watching the little guys succeed at the end of the day? Catching passes from Peyton Manning.
Yeah.
Peyton Manning.
Gross.
Yeah.
We hate him.
Yeah, I know. I mean, that's understandable, though. Least favorite player, I'm going to let you start because I'm probably going to go on a tangent with mine.
All right. Least favorite player. Least favorite player. Are we doing least favorite player and just...
Well, hold on. Let's go back to favorite baseball player just because we skipped it.
Yeah. Okay. Mine is... Okay, so a little quick backstory. Baseball for me. I was a baseball fan when I was a kid. I virtually stopped watching baseball. Did not even consider it a sport when the Astros lost in 2005. I went to one of those games. It was pretty much awful. Hated it. Until about, 2015?
Yeah.
2015, somebody made me start watching baseball again. Shout out to my girlfriend. Anyways, so I started watching it. Astros are good again. Yay me. But Craig Biggio, by far my favorite. Obviously,
3000.
yeah, obviously it's pretty easy to know why. He is, however, the only baseball I've ever caught was hit off Craig Biggio. I've gone to minor league games, nothing. Just like your normal games at high school and everything. Nope, nothing. Only straight up Craig Biggio. So that's mine. Specifically for that reason.
Specifically for that reason?
Yeah, specifically for that reason.
Favorite baseball player? If we're going in the past, I mean, it's not really the past. He's still on a roster. So, I mean, Dustin Pedroia.
Ugh.
Love me some Dustin Pedroia.
Oh, he's good.
Man, favorite baseball player? That's a big one.
Yeah.
Andrew Benintendi. Right now, easy.
Vinny Biceps.
Vinny Biceps all day long. Shout out to Jared Carabas for coining the nickname. But, I mean, Vinny Biceps. All right, least favorite football player.
Least favorite football player, mine, hands down, Des Bryant. You know why? He's a crybaby bitch. Can't stand him. I think he's overrated. I don't think that was a catch. To all the Cowboys fans out there.
To all the Cowboy fans out there, besides the catch and everything, right now, he's a number 2 wide receiver.
He's a number 2 wide receiver on a bad team.
Yeah.
He's not even a number 2 receiver on a good team.
Yeah, well, I've always said that if a great football team needs 3 different wide receivers to succeed. You don't need them, but you could, in order to succeed with a mediocre quarterback, you do.
Yeah.
You need to go up and get it guy.
Mm-hmm.
You need the route runner, and you need the speed guy.
Yeah.
So
Ideally, every team would be built like that.
Ideally,
It's
but
hard to get there,
It doesn't
yeah.
always happen because you have teams like the Raiders.
Yeah.
You have Michael Crabtree, who's the ultimate go up and get it guy. Honestly, besides DeAndre Hopkins.
Yeah, he fights.
Him and Julio.
Yeah.
Those are the
Julio. Mike Evans doesn't have to fight because he's just above everybody.
Right. But, and then, you have Devontae Adams, who's a go up and get it guy. The Packers have Jordy Nelson, who's a great route runner.
Yeah.
Great. One of the best route runners in the league, actually.
Yeah.
And then you have Randall Cobb, who's the speed guy.
Yeah, and it's not even that he's speed. He's just he makes people he loses people. He's just open. He's
he's
always wide open.
He has great release.
Yeah.
How's that?
Yeah.
Really
for
good
sure.
release, actually.
Yeah.
But
my thing real quick about Des Bryant. A perfect example of Des Bryant was one of the last games of the season. I don't actually remember who they were playing, but I specifically remember sitting there and watching, and he's on the sideline crying about not getting the ball.
Right.
Then they threw him the ball, and he just juggled it right in his hands. Pick. It's and then he fumbled it too, right? Either right before that or right after that. He caught the ball and then fumbled it. So it's at that point, it's if you're gonna beg for it and then you're gonna do that, then I don't know. I'm over Des Bryant. I'm ready for him to be out of the league. But here we go, folks.
We're gonna stir the pot here a little bit.
I feel a hot take coming.
Yeah, it's seeming. It's steaming because it's been there a while. And it's not his fault. Okay? He's not a bad player, and he might be the best human being aside from J.J. Watt in the NFL. I don't like Russell Wilson. I don't like Russell Wilson at all, actually. It's not that I think that he's a bad player at all, like I just said, but Russell Wilson won a Super Bowl because he had a defense and lost the Super Bowl because he had an arm. I mean, at the end of the day, that's facts. You know, we can sit here and say that he could have, audibled out of it and everything, but I mean, maybe just put it in front of him.
Yeah, no, I mean, to this day, I mean, did they ever find out who called that, who decided that? Like, was it?
Nobody. It will never come out of the Seahawks locker room.
Yeah, and I don't know, man. I mean, the play itself was garbage. The decision was garbage. And Russell Wilson could have done a lot more in that game to help his team.
And I think it has a lot to do with him being in the same draft class as Andrew. A little bit of the animosity. Because he hasn't really had a receiving core, right? But you have Doug Baldwin, who's actually a phenomenal receiver. And then you were gifted Jimmy Graham.
Yeah. Well, the thing with the Seahawks and Russell Wilson is he has like to me, Doug Baldwin's like a 8.5, a 9.
Yeah.
But then you have a bunch of 6s.
Yeah.
Like you don't have anybody bad. Like you have a bunch of good, all right receivers.
Right.
That it's hard to cover. It's hard to defend them because at any point, in any game, somebody's gonna have somebody that didn't the week before have a catch is gonna have 60 yards and 3 catches, 4 catches. I mean that's the thing is it's like, I don't know. Their receiving core is just it's a mystery to me, honestly.
Well, and they have that speed guy in Tyler Lockett.
Exactly.
So all you got to do is put it in front of him.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, but the Colts have T.Y. Hilton.
But they have Richardson too, and then they have
who isn't utilized nearly enough.
No. He was at the end of this year, but it's because they were a little banged up. Yeah, and then gifted Jimmy Graham.
They were gifted Jimmy Graham.
Who will not touch the ball for 3 quarters, then somehow end up with 2 catches, 45 yards, 2 touchdowns. Like, what?
In order to get Jimmy Graham, they sacrificed the health of their offensive line by trading Max Unger.
Yeah.
That's the thing. You decided, Russell needs a weapon, so what are we going to do? Let's trade basically the quarterback of the offensive line.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's benefiting Drew Brees now, and it's hurting Russell Wilson.
Yeah.
At the end of the day. But I mean, that's all I have to say on Russell Wilson. Seahawks fans, I have nothing against y'all. Y'all are actually really nice people. I've never met a dick Seahawks fan.
No, and that's I was talking with, we were trying to figure out, I had season tickets to the Texans. Since I moved to college, I haven't been able to go as many games. I've been really wanting to go to a few road games. This year we're playing the Seahawks in Seattle, and I had the opportunity to go. I couldn't work around my schedule though, and that was I really regretted that because that's something I would have wanted to go to. Turned out that game was an awesome game. It was one of the top 5 games of the year in the NFL.
That's pre Deshaun Watson injury.
Yeah, for sure. That's when the week after him and Brady dueled it out, and then he goes out there and duels it out with 2 weeks later.
Yeah,
duels it out with Russell Wilson up there, and I'd want to go and I want to experience that with those fans. I think it'd be pretty cool.
Well, yeah, I mean they probably have. I mean, up there with Arrowhead, CenturyLink's pretty amazing when it comes to fans.
Yeah, and real quick on fans, but not necessarily being home. But I've always heard that Steelers fans travel well. They're the best traveling.
They really do.
And I went to the last game. Was it the last game of the season? It was the last home game of the season this year for the Texans. And it was Steelers versus Texans. In my entire life, been going to Texans games since they started. I have never left a game early. I have sat there and watched my team get beat 30-0 against the Chiefs in a playoff game. Did not even think about leaving. I left this game because I left a game at halftime because there was, and we have great fans. We have amazing fans. Our stadium's always packed, but we had, no joke, 80 to 20 Steelers fans there. And it's not like they were even mean or obnoxious. They were a good team this year. They were present, and they were loud and cheering, and it was just, I was disgusted. I already don't like Steelers. I hate Steelers. And it was just, seeing that, ugh. Props to them, though. I mean, they made home fans disgusted, It wasn't just me. I mean, there was the general consensus around the stadium.
I mean, I haven't had a very good experience with Houston fans, considering like the only time that I've been there. The Colts were up 13-3 at halftime or something like that, and the Boo Birds were already out.
Yeah, it was a rough season.
Yeah, it was. It was
though.
extremely
it was
rough
a rock
season.
season. So
But yeah, and shout outs to the AFC South actually for having really good fans. Like, everybody's actually really respectful when it comes to the AFC South. Maybe it's because of the fact that we're just bad. I don't know if it's that we're bad or we just like. I mean, I'm really not sure when it comes to the South.
yeah. Okay, well, I've been to. Those are my favorite games to go to, or
Right.
our division games. Tennessee fans are non-existent, basically.
Oh yeah,
At least on the road. I've never been to a
game in Nashville.
Titans game, and I thought maybe it's just Houston, but I've been to a Dallas Titans game and it was the same thing. Tennessee they don't show up.
You find that weird. I find that a little weird, considering that they were the Oilers before.
Yeah.
I thought that would be a little different, but I guess not.
And Jaguar fans, they travel, but they're the most lackluster fans ever. Like they are, which I mean they haven't really had a reason to be like
Right, but
pumped
at
up,
least they're
but-
there.
Yeah, but those are the most obnoxious, rude fans I've ever met.
Jaguar fans.
Yeah, I was at a game one time, sitting next to this is a straight shot at you if you ever listen to this. Sanderic Marks plays 99 for the Jaguars, or did. They got too many pieces over there now. He doesn't play anymore, but I think after his injury he hasn't played anymore. So his entire family was sitting right around, like about 20 of his family members sitting right around us. One of our players gets hurt. It was Jay Prosh. Jay Prosh gets hurt on the field. Everyone's quiet except all these Jaguar fans. They say, "Oh, he got you, boy!" Like they're just talking. I mean, how disrespectful is that?
Yeah.
2 plays later, Sanderic Marks gets knocked down out for the
that's
season.
awful.
And they're all sitting there crying and stuff, but respectful as ever. We're just sitting there with our mouth closed, hoping everything's okay. It was just, I don't know, man. Fans are a funny thing in all sports.
Yeah, in all
sports.
sports, to be completely honest. Like, again, I'm from San Antonio, so maybe I see it from a different point of view than most people do, living in that city for so long. Spurs fans are an odd bunch,
Yeah.
because at the end of the day, come playoff time, they're really grouchy if they don't win the day before because Valero gives them free coffee.
Really?
Yeah, so if you go anywhere the next day after a Spurs playoff loss, which, mind you, isn't very often.
Yeah.
But I mean, they're very grouchy. Don't get me wrong. Love all you guys. My team's bad. I get it.
Your team's forever good.
Your team will always be good. Congrats on your 50 wins. 50 wins a season streak that just keeps going on and on and on. But I mean, the Popovich era has to come to an end at some point, right?
Do you think they'll be bad after that?
No, because I think Becky Hammond will eventually replace him as the head coach, and I just think that she will continue what he's preaching, basically.
Yeah. Well, because they were the first ever team in the league to have a female assistant coach.
Absolutely.
Correct? Yeah, that's crazy.
Absolutely. It's just actually pretty cool because it's evolving that way anyway, between female referees and now we have female coaches.
Yeah.
It's starting to evolve that way. It all honestly started with the Rooney Rule. When it comes to having African American coaches interview for a job,
Which messed up this year.
Yeah.
Which team was
the
that?
John Gruden.
The John Gruden. Yeah.
Basically, what they're saying is they avoided the Rooney Rule because of the fact that the job was already filled.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, I guess says more about the organization than it does for anybody
It's
else.
like, do you want to look bad or do you want to look bad in court?
Right, exactly.
That's how I was seeing it,
Right.
personally. But they messed up, but they really don't care. As long as it gets them a win, they really don't care.
Coaches is actually a really good transition. 'Cause
Yeah, sure.
Someone at this table has a new coach,
Yeah,
and it's not you.
it's not me.
First of all, Frank Reich, thank you. You gave us a great soundbite yesterday at the press conference when you said the backup role suited you well, considering Josh McDaniels backed out of the job not a couple days earlier. And speaking of sound bites, Chris Ballard, you got to give me your opinion on Chris Ballard.
So originally came from the Chiefs, correct?
Correct.
Okay, yeah. So, as a Texans fan, when Ryan Grigson was let go, I was very upset.
Yeah, because it was benefiting y'all.
Oh yeah, when Chuck Pagano continued to get, year after year of just oh, maybe they'll fix it, maybe they'll fix it. Again, loved it.
Nice guys.
Yeah.
Nice, well, not Grigson, but Pagano.
Yeah.
Nice guys don't win in football.
Yeah. So when Chris Ballard came out, I was like, okay, well, I hate the Chiefs,
Right.
and they're doing well for themselves over there. And the only reason they're not getting over that hump is not because of Chris Ballard, it's because of Andy Reid. Exactly. You know my thoughts on Andy Reid.
We'll get into that at some point.
There will be we can devote an entire segment on Andy Reid and his fool of himself. Anyways, so I admire what Chris Ballard does. I was really upset when he came to y'all because I was like, great, like they're gonna be competitive.
It's almost like having Bill Polian all over again.
Yeah,
like,
and they wanted
it's an actual football mind.
Yeah, exactly. And so I don't know, Chris Ballard, I think is a good hire. I think he's what's the word I'm looking for?
He's football savvy.
Yeah, and he's not
focused.
Yeah, and not like ballsy, but he's
Right.
like he's just matter of fact. Like
Right.
he's like blunt,
He goes
matter
straight
of fact.
to. I mean, we saw that in the press conference.
Exactly,
I mean,
that's what I'm saying. I was impressed.
that little walk off. The rivalry is back on. Well, it hasn't been a rivalry lately. Andrew Luck. 0-5, and with a point differential of like 24 points against Tom Brady.
Yeah.
But it could always turn into that all over again.
Yep, for sure.
Might be my favorite thing that anybody said in the last actual couple of years. The rivalry is back on. Speaking of coaches, though, once this podcast go up, we officially have more podcasts than Marvin Lewis has playoff wins.
That is so true. We love the Bengals in the AFC South.
I think the NFL loves the Bengals in general.
They're great.
It's a built-in bye week in the playoffs.
Exactly, and that's the thing is it's like teams are talking about oh, it's too much football, we need more time off. It's like just make sure you get the Bengals.
Just get the Bengals in the first round.
Get the Bengals in the first round. Get an automatic bye. Even when they're good, they still manage to suck.
Right.
And it's funny how they can play against some teams. And then next week, and the next week, and the next week,
That's
and the
the
next
cool
week.
thing about the AFC North, though.
Awful.
The AFC North, everybody's competitive with each other.
Yeah.
Like the Browns play the Steelers really well. It's cool watching football with the Steelers fan, especially when an AFC North game's on because it's always going to be close.
Yeah.
It's not going to be a blowout. I don't care if it's Browns Steelers. I don't care if it's Ravens Steelers.
Yeah. Well, it was like, second game of the year this year, they had the Steelers, or did they beat the Steelers? No, they didn't.
No.
Obviously not.
Yeah.
They went 0-16, yeah. But no, they had it until the last play.
Right.
And then the Steelers came back and won. Yeah. The Bears are the ones who beat the Steelers in week 2.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's what I was thinking of, them too.
Yeah, that was a weird team. That was the team that I thought
They beat the better teams this year and
Yeah.
then just came up short against the lesser teams.
Luckily they
Luckily.
yeah,
Are you about to transition?
That was a pun. Mind the pun. But anyway, luckily, unluckily actually, my quarterback's shoulder is the way they described it is, it's like having a golf ball and a tee, right, with the tees broken.
So it's not no longer on the tee there.
Yeah. So your quarterback, at least in Deshaun Watson, is walking now.
He's running.
Yeah, I saw him
I
running.
saw him running the other day. Yes, super excited. My only thing is with him is it's like he had his one ACL in college and he's had his other ACL in the NFL. So it's like he got robot legs now, man. Like he has no excuse. But I'd say the last 4 years with your team, injuries have been bad. But mainly it's the same player. Yeah. With us, injuries have been really bad for 2 years, but bad for 3. But it's been a bunch of players.
Right.
And it basically equals the same thing.
Yeah, but there's a little bit of a difference. Is my team, your defense, your team's built around defense. If you think about it, if you honestly sit there and think about it, it's like, oh yeah, Watt, Clowney, Merciless,
McKinney.
Yeah, huge.
Yeah,
huge. Whitney Merciless fan.
It's gonna be huge. Yeah, we love Whitney.
I love Whitney.
Whitney's underrated. He's a monster.
But When it comes to Texans, though, one of my favorite player on the Texans still to this day, DeAndre Hopkins. What a monster!
Yeah, he's amazing.
What a monster!
I lose interest when they throw it to him now because just like, well, he's gonna catch it or he's gonna get a PI or nope, yep, he's just gonna catch or get a PI. Pretty much it.
All right, well, pass interference is actually a really good transition too. So we're rolling.
Keeping it smooth.
Anyway, pass interference. What's your opinions on the pass interference penalty as a whole?
So like we talked about the other day, it's very offensive
Based.
it's very offensive advantaged. I think that this year they did a really good job calling PIs throughout the league. Except for on, like we were just talking about, DeAndre Hopkins.
Yeah.
As a Texans fan, I really am happy that it's like this because it helps me. But when we all know DeAndre Hopkins pushes off, all the best receivers,
Jordan Game 6.
yeah, all the best receivers push off. You work that into your game, you practice it, you learned it. It's a learned attribute, it's a learned skill.
And all the best do it.
Exactly. And so, but my problem with it is you run a route, you push off, you blatantly push off like 7 yards. Just
It's like
truck him.
extending your arm.
Yeah,
basically.
you just truck him, turn around, no flag. And then you barely push off, no flag. But every now and then, with the same ref the whole game, you push off a few yards, 4 or 5 yards, get him in a position, turn around, flag. It's like, okay, timeout. 2 plays before, you let him mug that fool, turn around and catch it, and it wasn't PI, but this is. So that's where I just get a little confused.
About what, because it's a lot like the catch rule. It's like, it's up to the referee's judgment.
Yeah, if any given day, any given ref, it's a different rule.
It's like, what is pass interference?
Yeah, what is a catch? What is pass interference? What is holding?
Yeah.
What is holding?
Yeah, it's pretty funny actually. When it comes down to all that, it's a judgment call.
Yeah.
So what needs to happen for the Texans this offseason in order to succeed next year?
Okay, well, so
Without a first or second round.
without a first or second round pick, I'm totally fine with that.
Yeah.
I got Deshaun Watson, totally fine with it. I mean, there's
Got Brock Osweiler out of town.
Yeah, got Brock Osweiler out of town, and we're gonna have three third round picks this year.
Yeah.
And
With compensatory picks.
yeah, and we have we had one. We got one for Dwayne Brown, and we're gonna get one for AJ Boye from sending him, and that's
Right.
a compensatory pick. And that's just the ones in the third round. We're gonna get a few more later on, but so normally, I'd be a little nervous though because all of our gyms are first round talent. Well, we have a new general manager. Shout out to Brian Gain. Congratulations. Glad you're back from the terrible, terrible Buffalo Bills organization. Don't know why you went there. Should have stayed home. Anyways, so he's super tasked this year, I guess, with, hitting in these mid rounds. I think that we don't really need that many pieces in the draft this year. I think free agency is where we need to hit it. We have, don't fact check me on this, I know in the top 10, but I'm pretty sure even in the top 5 with cap space this year.
But do you have $70 million though?
Okay, I don't have $70 million, but I also have Deshaun Watson. So basically, I need, if you said take 2 things that I need and run with it this year, I need a elite cornerback, which is easily attainable this year.
Yeah.
And I need a.
It's gonna wind up being Malcolm Butler.
It's Malcolm Butler. You're like, ooh, you heard it first. No, not really, but and I need a. Not necessarily the best offensive tackle. I need the most safe offensive tackle. I need one that is not gonna get hurt.
So basically 2 of the things that you let go in the past 365
Okay,
days.
yeah. We messed up, but we thought we were getting Tony Romo.
Yeah, you did. I thought you were getting Tony Romo.
I wanted Tony Romo, but I'm glad I got Deshaun Watson. So
Deshaun Watson was he's Deshaun Watson.
yeah, I mean it's great. So yeah, for me, free agency, not the draft. cornerback, and offensive lineman. Really, anything on the right side. I just need a right side. And then, real quick, also on that fact, everyone talks about our safety play. Our safety play is trash. Well, we moved Kareem Jackson from cornerback to
Right.
safety. It's fixed. What about your draft?
I mean, sitting at number 3, I mean, we could do a lot of things. You know, I heard a lot of people talking about Bradley Chubb. That's actually the name that's come up more than anything when it comes down to it.
Which I really don't see.
Yeah, I mean, he's being compared to Mario Williams for the simple fact that he went to NC State and broke his sack record. Now, if Ballard does what I want Ballard to do, Ballard will trade back. And basically
How far back?
I mean, he could honestly trade back anywhere from 1 pick to 5 picks to even, I mean, just stockpile picks, because that's what this team needs. This team's not going to be fixed in a year.
You need bodies.
Exactly, you need bodies. This team's not going to be fixed in a year. Malik Hooker's coming off an injury, so that's, I mean, it'll be a process.
Which, good player.
Yeah.
Good player.
Well, that secondary is going to wind up being Clayton Geathers if he comes back from his neck injury, and Malik Hooker, which will be actually a really good tandem.
Yeah.
I mean, and then
Physical,
we obviously
very physical.
extremely physical. And Geathers would be pretty cool because he could stop the run, and then you have Hooker, who's just a ball hawk.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, plus the Colts going to 4-3 now will actually be a huge upgrade because I think it'll be more players are accessible in a 4-3 defense, basically, in my opinion. And then, what else we need? We need offensive line help, obviously.
For what? Jacoby Brissett, he runs around.
Yeah. But, I mean, what we need is offensive line help. We can't depend on Jack Mewhort to stay healthy anymore.
Jack Mewhort.
Jack Mewhort gets hurt every single year. And then, I mean, you have Anthony Costanza, who has at least a holding call every game. Mind you, he's a great player, actually.
Is he, though?
He does. I really enjoy watching
He played much better this year than he has.
Yeah,
in the
he
past.
has in past years. Absolutely. Absolutely. I think a lot of that's Jacoby Brissett running to his right.
Yeah. He's
But-
great. He's a terrible Madden player. He's terrible on Madden.
Terrible on Madden. All right, so one more thing. Best quarterback in this draft.
Best quarterback in this draft, Baker Mayfield. Baker Mayfield,
Why?
hands down. Because he's the only person in this draft, quarterback, that is a superstar. I mean, okay, if someone was literally going to give you all the let's say what, 4 quarterbacks, Josh Allen, Sam Darnold, Josh Rosen, and Baker Mayfield, they sat down in an interview, and you looked at all of them, and you said, which one's going to be a star? Who's the first one that's going to stand out?
Josh Allen.
What?
Yeah, Josh Allen's my pick.
No.
Like, Josh Allen is my favorite quarterback in this draft.
What? At
Hands-
Wyoming?
Hands down. Carson Wentz went to North Dakota State.
Yeah, but Carson Wentz is a baller.
Jimmy Garoppolo
yeah.
went to East Carolina.
Okay,
went to
yeah,
Eastern
but-
Illinois.
Okay, so you might have a point, Jimmy Garoppolo, but Carson Wentz is just like Baker Mayfield. Not as outspoken, but
Or
he's
an ass.
kind of an ass.
Carson Wentz didn't get tackled by the police in preseason.
No, he also didn't grab his
junk against Kansas.
yeah, which that was okay. They didn't shake his hand.
That was Baylor.
That was Baylor.
I think Baylor was the daddy incident.
Yeah, he said, he's the daddy.
Remind you who
The
daddy is.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, Kansas was. They went out and they wouldn't
Yeah,
shake his
wouldn't
hand, and lady's like, shake this. Like,
I don't blame him. I don't know where his hands has been.
yeah, I just I don't know. Baker Mayfield.
What do you like about Baker? Do you like his willingness to make the long throw?
I like Baker's willingness to go out there, try something. If it doesn't work, come back right after that and do it all over again.
Right.
Like, people say, oh, it's too reckless for the NFL. But Baker Mayfield's not going to start right away.
Right.
No
Absolutely.
matter where he goes, I don't think he's going to start right away.
Where do you think he winds up?
Honestly, I have no clue. This draft is literally the most puzzling thing that I've seen in, like, the
last couple of years, or it's probably since the Derek Carr draft.
Since for sure, since I've been keeping up with the draft. So, like, last six years.
Yeah.
It's definitely, like, the most puzzling draft to me, just because I think there's a lot of talent spread out.
Right.
I don't necessarily think there's a a clear tier system, and I think that there are many more skill position players that are better than the quarterbacks.
I don't believe that there is a significant franchise quarterback in this draft.
No,
class.
no. I think that
There's not a Carson Wentz.
okay. Put it this way: Sam Darnold, Josh Rosen will be out of the league in 3 years.
I don't think.
If they're in.
I think it'll be more like 5. You know, it'll be more like the David Carr incident, which David Carr is the topic for another day because David Carr was not a bad player he just didn't have good protection.
Can you see though in this day? Say David Carr came out now, he
Right.
would not get the amount of years he had with Houston.
No.
No, so I don't think Sam Darnold or Josh Rosen will go anywhere and get that amount of time.
Right.
You know, it's win now. It's win now, win now. Win. Josh Allen and Baker Mayfield are the only two that I could see either being groomed and then succeeding and being decent quarterbacks later on, or going out and then by next year they're both starting somewhere and then fizz out but still be around as like good backups because of their like intangibles. To me, Sam Darnold, he's a fat-faced kid who somehow got on scholarship there. And
Well,
did something.
he gets a lot of his attention because of the fact that he plays for Southern Cal.
Exactly. And then Josh Rosen, UCLA. Anybody see that first game this year against A&M?
Well, yeah.
A&M's defense.
Yeah, he brought that team back. I mean, if nothing else.
Brought him back and also should have. I mean, if A&M could catch, if any of their defense could catch anything.
They just weren't A&M.
Yeah, because Josh Rosen had, I think, 2 picks in that game, but had like 6 dropped interceptions.
Right.
Like the only reason they won that game is because A&M just couldn't capitalize. So my thing is, if he's gonna make those mistakes like that, think about if that would have went differently. If they would have lost that game, first game of the season.
Well,
How
his draft stock plummets.
How many games would they have won this year? Honestly,
Not that many when
3?
it comes down to it.
4.
Yeah, because that's a big confidence booster at the end
Exactly.
of the day. But you play in the Pac-12, so I mean, you get a couple of cupcakes.
Those are your cupcakes, 3
Yeah.
and 4. They do not beat any other team that's competitive.
Right.
Because they are already behind the 8 ball after week 1. And what really has he won there? I mean, what really has he done or won there? You say cupcakes in Pac-12, and look at his record.
Yeah.
He has talent there. UCLA's churning people out every year. So why didn't this guy succeed? No one's answering that question on any of the big news sites.
So if nothing else, you know our opinion on the California quarterbacks. We don't believe that Rosen or Darnold are anywhere near. I believe as good as Josh Allen. He believes as good as Josh Allen or Baker Mayfield.
Yeah, I mean, those two are definitely better than those.
Yeah. Let's go to the Buffalo Bills. Okay, let's talk about the Buffalo Bills real quick.
Okay.
Lamar Jackson. Probably, I've seen in a lot of mock drafts going to the Buffalo Bills. Why would you replace Tyrod Taylor with Lamar Jackson?
You're replacing a
Faster version of Tyrod Taylor, basically.
and a less accurate
Yes.
version of Tyrod. I mean, Tyrod Taylor's already not that good of a quarterback,
Right.
and you're replacing him with everything he does minus things.
Yeah.
Maybe just they need a fresh face.
Right.
Maybe that's it. But Buffalo is
Problem with Buffalo is you're in the East.
it's just a joke. How did they make the playoffs this year? Their defense and their run game.
Well, it helps that neither one of us were competitive.
Well,
Being in
exactly.
the
Yeah,
AFC.
yeah.
Because normally that's a spot for
Yeah.
either us or a North team.
That game, the game in the playoffs, them in Jacksonville. What Jacksonville did after that game, the next 2 games,
Right.
you know, wow. But what? I don't understand how Buffalo wins games and are so bad.
Right. They, it's a lot of that scrap. I mean, we sat there at one of the bars here in town and we watched Buffalo grind it out with the Colts team.
Yeah.
That was awful.
Yeah, trying to lose. The
Yeah.
Colts are trying to lose.
The Colts are out there, like, legit trying to lose half the game, it looked like. And we just, it took a Shady McCoy touchdown in order to end the game in overtime.
Which you called before the game even started.
Yeah, it's Shady McCoy in the snow. We all remember what he did in Philly against Detroit a couple of years ago in the snow.
Mm-hmm.
Crazy game. Anybody else in the draft that you want to talk about? Any prospects that you really like this year?
And the draft, I'm a big Nick Chubb fan.
Yeah.
I
That'd be
think
awesome to have in the backfield.
I think running backs
Best it's been in a long time.
Yeah, I mean, you got Saquon Barkley who tapered off this year, but
Probably
it's
the best
still,
it's been since last year.
yeah,
actually.
but still Saquon. Then you got Nick Chubb, and you have a bunch of guys coming from smaller schools, and that
Yeah.
like lately you've been seeing. I mean, like Kareem Hunt this past year, but Toledo, right?
Yeah.
Like, I don't
Alvin
know.
Kamara, even out of Tennessee.
Yeah. Just Tennessee. Like, when I was looking at stuff in week 17, I was like, looking at who was going to be rookie of the year, looking up on stuff, and I saw that Kamara was from Tennessee. I was like, what? Like, the small sector of the SEC comes out there.
Yeah, the non-big names.
Yeah.
Not your Bamas. I mean, which that's the name,
Yeah.
honestly. But I mean, we could talk about Saquon Barkley for a little bit.
Yeah. Real quick, just a question: is Bo Scarborough coming out?
I believe so. I think they're both coming out,
Huh.
and along with Ridley too. So Bama's turning out a lot of offensive players this year.
Yeah. Which, I mean, how often was Bo Scarborough used this year?
Right.
4 carries a game, 8
Exactly.
carries a game, maybe. Anyways, so Saquon.
What a like. You know what he reminds me of? Reggie Bush.
Really? What?
To an extent. He reminds me a lot of Reggie Bush in his playmaking ability. The ability to make something out of nothing in the backfield.
See, and this is a completely different comparison I'm going to go with. I'm going to go Barry Sanders.
Barry Sanders, just yeah.
Athlete.
Just the straight athlete.
Yeah, and he just, whenever someone's close, they're far away from him, if that makes sense.
Right.
It's like, not necessarily elusiveness, because almost every running back is elusive now.
Yeah,
And
you
it's
have
not,
to be in
yeah,
order to
and
be
it's
able
not,
to play
he's
the
so
position.
agile, like, no, everyone is like that.
The Eddie Lacy's of the league are dying out.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, your big backs.
Marshawn,
Yeah.
Eddie, Fat Eddie, Fatter Eddie. Like,
They're dying out.
yeah, you don't see it.
It's a lot like
Until Mike Tolbert walks in, and then
Yeah,
he's getting 3
vultures,
TDs a
yeah.
game, out of nowhere, but yeah.
The fullback position, it's dead. I mean, if you think about it, there's only a couple teams.
Yeah.
I mean, y'all have Jay Prosh, but that's
49ers.
the 49ers, Jesuit or whatever.
Janowick,
yeah.
whatever, yeah.
Yeah.
Even John Kuhn. Where's John Kuhn now? He's not on the Packers.
He was in New
New
Orleans.
Orleans, yeah.
Yeah. But I mean, that position's dead, and now because that used to be where the big backs went.
Yeah. Vontae Leach.
Yeah, and I mean Lorenzo Neal, probably the best fullback since Moose Johnson
Yeah.
for those Cowboy teams in the '90s. But what else could we talk about? I mean, we have the cornerback position, which I feel like is remotely deep this year. I mean, secondary seems to be okay,
Yeah, I like I said.
but I think it's a big D tackle.
Yeah, like I said, skill position wise, I think this year will be good. Wide receivers are good. Is Christian Kirk coming out?
I'm not sure. That would be something we would have to look up and update on y'all next week.
Yeah.
But
I'm a huge Christian Kirk fan. He's the best receiver in the country, in my opinion.
I think Calvin Ridley is.
Calvin Ridley's good. He's good, but
Cortland
Bama.
Sutton out of SMU.
he's good.
Shout out to my grandmother, big
going to the
SMU
Ravens?
fan. Maybe in Washington.
Yeah.
Washington would be a good spot for him, actually. Just give them another weapon, honestly,
Yeah.
with whoever's going to be the quarterback, whether it be Alex Smith or they tag,
Yeah.
Kirk Cousins,
Yeah.
who I love.
I think 10 through 20, there's going to be at least 4 receivers off the
Oh,
board.
yeah. There's going to be a lot of offensive tackles taken, a lot
Yeah.
of Big 12 offensive tackles, actually.
Connor
probably.
Williams, right? Is that the
Yeah.
the Texas
the
dude?
one out of Texas, yeah.
I'd love to have him. Oh wait, he's not going to drop to the 3rd round.
Yeah.
But yeah, this draft is deep. It's really deep, but there's no I'm gonna change everything as soon as I walk in the door, guy. I don't think.
Right. Well,
On
we
any-
we had that with Myles Garrett. I think last year. I think that was the guy.
Yeah.
Where everybody thought, he's gonna change the franchise.
So, you just went on Myles Garrett right there.
Right.
Quick, let's do 1 minute. Browns this year, they have 2 first-round picks or 3?
They have 2.
So they got 2 first round, and then they immediately have 2 second round?
Yeah, 2 second.
Okay.
3 second round because they have the Eagles.
Okay, so they have 2 first round, 3 second rounds.
Right.
And they had Julius Peppers. I'm not Julius Peppers.
No, Jabril.
Jabril Peppers and
Myles
Myles Garrett last year.
Right.
At what point do they get better? I mean, you're getting 5 top-tier talents this year
Well, here's-
to pair with that defense. And if you look besides them, look around that defense, it's a good defense.
Well, look, we said the same thing about. We joked about the same thing about Jacksonville a couple years ago, though. Remember?
Yeah.
But they had the free agent clout because they're in Florida, number one.
Yeah.
They brought in those free agents. They brought in Calais Campbell, Barry Church. They traded for Marcel Darius, which was probably
Mid-season, right?
Yeah,
Or like
mid-season. That
week
was
5,
one of the biggest acquisitions of the whole entire season. When it
They're
comes down to
their
it.
defensive line can just rotate all game. They have
All game
so
long.
many guys. But that's the thing. So
Miles Jack.
yeah. So with the Browns, I mean, I hate on the Browns because they're garbage.
It's hard not to.
But
Shout out to Ryan Grigson, now senior vice president with the Cleveland Browns.
yeah. So, but my question, at what point do they get better? At what point do they stop being the absolute laughingstock? This year? Next year? Never?
The question is, do they win a game next year, right?
They win a game.
They win a game
They
next
win a game next year. They win a game next year with the same team they have last year.
Right. That's just becoming maturity, and they
Exactly.
ran into a lot of bad luck situations because they were in almost every
luck?
single game this year.
Luck pun.
Yeah, luck pun. They were in almost every single game this year. I mean, look at that Packer game. They had that Packer game in the bag.
Yeah, there were so many games that went down to the last few seconds and then just.
And then Brent Hundley just went off.
Yeah, that was a stupid play.
Yeah. Being a San Antonio kid, you gotta love seeing Marcus Davenport, the D end on the board from UTSA. It's a pretty cool thing to see somebody of that high talent class in the top 20. It's a lot how I feel when I see Cortland Sutton out of SMU up there. It's pretty cool to see.
So, being San Antonio, have you heard what UTSA did with their athletic program?
No.
So, there was a proposition to the students that they got to vote on, and for every class hour that they took, they could vote to put $1 each on it for this year and next year, and that would all be going to the athletic program to do renovations, to help in recruiting and all that stuff, and it only got 10% vote. The students said, we don't care about sports here, and they basically lost everything because they have that great coach there.
Yeah,
he's
they
gone.
Had
He's
Larry,
gone.
They had Larry Coker
They
there
just
for a while.
signed him. Well, they just signed their coach this past year to an extension. Gone. He's gonna be gone. They already said if that building get passed because he doesn't have the resources nor the interest there to succeed. And when again you're seeing a talent like Davenport coming out, and they may not have that many more people. So as a San Antonio kid, what do you? What do you think?
Here's my opinion on this. The city of San Antonio and a lot of people in the city of San Antonio could probably agree with me. They don't grasp sports like they should. We have the Missions, okay? That's the minor league baseball team. That's there. They're the Padres AA team. The Wolf does not sell out every night, and if they do, it's because of a great promotion. I love the Missions. Every time I'm in town, I would love to go to a Missions game during baseball season because I love minor league baseball. And it's pretty cool to watch, and they have great jerseys, a great logo. Went through a logo change and made it even better actually. But the city of San Antonio does not grasp football and baseball like it should.
So you're saying it's because of basketball?
It's because of the Spurs. How good the Spurs have been for the past it's 2018. So next year will be 20 years.
Yeah.
That the Spurs have been this good. It's because of the Spurs that the city does not grasp onto lesser teams because just for the simple fact is their expectations are so high.
Yeah. Well, they don't have a professional
Right.
team there besides basketball. So when you
And
get
they'll
to
never
college,
have a football team there.
Yeah. No.
No, just because they'll never grasp onto it.
Yeah.
That's a problem.
I don't know. I heard about that. I researched about that, and I was actually wanting to talk to you about it off air.
Yeah.
And then it came up. So nice to have that perspective on this first show like that.
Yeah,
That's cool.
It's pretty cool actually. A lot of my friends go to UTSA, and a lot of them are athletes, so I'm sure they were part of it.
Yeah.
I'd love to talk to them and see how that went down. Want to get your opinion on a couple more draft prospects, and then we'll go off. But I mean, let's see. Let's find a good one. Find a little more. Oh, Mason Rudolph,
The Oklahoma State
quarterback. Yeah. Here's my problem with schools like Oklahoma State and Texas Tech. You have such high-powered offenses, right? And you have this air raid attack that they don't run in the NFL.
Yeah.
That's why, your Zach Robinsons, honestly, Graham Harrell. Graham Harrell didn't do anything. He was with the Packers for a little bit, but that was about it.
Yeah. Something that scouts and teams know. Like, they see that and they're like, ugh.
Yeah.
Like, what are we going to do? However, Patrick Mahomes, he's getting the starting gig in Kansas City. He came from a air raid offense, spread it out, just dink and dunk, chunk it up. Like, Mason Rudolph is a guy who I like. He has a bunch of weapons. I don't like him anything above what's a comparison as, not play style comparison, but success comparison in the NFL. To me, it'd be a Ryan Fitzpatrick.
Yeah.
To me, Ryan Fitzpatrick fits Mason Rudolph as good talent when he has good weapons around him and has mobility, but just at the end of the day, he's not gonna win the game for you and anything. But you put him on a good team with good weapons around him. Honestly, Buffalo. You put him on Buffalo, maybe not this year, maybe not even next year.
With Jordan Matthews.
Yeah, but I don't know. Like, a good defense, good run game. He doesn't throw stupid passes. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
He does throw picks. Everybody throws picks in college.
It's college.
Because you don't have that. You work with the receivers, but in the NFL, you can work with them all the time. In college, you have X amount of time you can work with them, and especially in college, you're turning out new receivers every 2 years. You just don't have the time to develop the chemistry that you need. So when I see picks in college, it's chemistry based most of the time. I don't see it as, he has a turnover problem.
Right.
Now, Lamar Jackson has a turnover problem.
That's because of the fact that he holds the ball out.
Well, and his accuracy is just, he can have guys wide open, miss him 10 feet.
Right.
Like, I don't quite understand.
One last quarterback prospect that I would like to talk about is, a guy that we were really high on at the beginning of the year, which was Luke Falk, out of Washington State and the Mike Leach offense. We just talked about Texas Tech. Well, Mike Leach Graham Harrell was a Mike Leach prospect.
Yeah.
So what are your opinions on Luke Falk? And
overall, I was disappointed this year. I wanted to see more. I thought he was going to be the Heisman this year.
Yeah.
Don't have much to say. I didn't watch much of him this year because he got off such a rough start.
Right.
Just kind of like, with his position, he would have had to go off all year to even get the Heisman. So once the first 2 weeks were over, it was over. I already gave up on him. Somebody who honestly, to me, not to like pivot off this or anything, because I want to hear what you have on it, was a quarterback surprised me this year who kind of took my Luke Falk love, Trace McSorley from Penn State.
Yeah.
So that's a name that's going to be out there. Don't forget it.
That'll be one of those that's just a deep, like a fifth roundish player, if that at all. But Luke Falk didn't have a terrible year, honestly.
No, he didn't.
Like
He didn't have the breakout.
30-13 isn't bad by any means of the imagination, honestly. Now going off the NFL draft, let's talk about the NBA for just a couple minutes.
For sure.
Big Rockets fan.
Yep.
Big Rockets fan.
They're good.
Yeah.
They're good.
Opinions on this NBA season, and then we'll slowly work our way down the standings to my team.
Yeah. This NBA season overall, like, what do I see this year? The Warriors aren't winning. It's going to be a different team, but the Warriors are not winning this year. They just don't have it. I don't know if it's because they've won a few now, but they don't. You watch them play and
they look bored.
Yeah, and you never know. In the playoffs, they might get that drive back and stuff, but if the Rockets are healthy, they don't win. honestly, if they don't get that spark of the playoffs, they may get bumped by San Antonio. The way San Antonio,
I don't think
the way San Antonio's been playing, they're 11
they're
games
5
over 500.
and 5 in their last 10.
Yeah,
they're
but they're
playing like complete garbage.
They're 11 games over 500 with that roster.
Yeah, without Kawhi Leonard.
But if you watch the games, they're playing so well and losing.
Yeah.
They're not getting blown out. They're not getting thrown around.
Very rarely is a Greg Popovich team going to get blown out at the end of the day. I mean, they beat the lowly Suns by 40 the other night.
I feel like after the All-Star break, if Golden State doesn't immediately turn it around, they're done. And honestly, like, this is 2 days ago, honestly, maybe about a week ago, I would have said this is a joke. But Cavaliers are looking good the last few games.
Right, after the blow-up at the trade deadline.
They won 2 games before the trade deadline that were good games against the Timberwolves in that double overtime the night before. And then they won a game right before that. And then since then, they beat Oklahoma City, and who else did they beat the other night? Just 2 good teams. Regardless, they're playing much better, and I don't know. They have that spark again that Golden State again is lacking.
Yeah.
But biased aside, if Chris Paul and James Harden are healthy, they're winning the finals. It's over.
You think so?
Yep.
Well, let's go ahead and parachute down the standings to my.
They're not
favorite
that
team.
far back, except for at the bottom.
That's fine. I want to know exactly how many games they are behind the Rockets. Let's see. So, looks like 25.
That's not bad.
It's not bad. My 18-40 Mavericks, I mean, tied for the number 1 seed right now. There are a couple bright spots. I mean, the Doug McDermott trade I was actually really happy about because
he's playing well.
Yeah, he really is. And he's somebody that's great to have with Dennis Smith on the floor just because of the fact that he can actually shoot.
Yeah.
Or Dennis, as we've previously mentioned, he will develop a jump shot, especially being on a team with Dirk. Yeah. Dirk has this amazing instructor, this amazing mentor in Holger that basically taught him how to shoot. And Holger shows up probably, a couple times every season. I've seen him do drills with Harrison Barnes and stuff like that, and that's pretty cool to see. And it's actually, I feel like it's helped Harrison a bunch. But I was really disappointed that Wesley Matthews didn't get traded at the trade deadline.
You hate Wesley Matthews.
Yeah. It's not even
like
that.
I did.
Because I thought we were getting a 3-and-D guy. I didn't realize we were only getting like a 3 guy.
And a unneeded 3 guy. Just throws him up.
Yeah. It's just. He just half the time he just thinks that he's always wide open. He's got that Curry complex without the Curry ability. That's my thing about my team. I'm gonna put this on air for the first time. I really want Luka Doncic. Luka Doncic out of Real Madrid because he can shoot. Just like the reason why I like Doug McDermott. Difference with Luka Doncic, he's 6'7",
and he
plays 2.
He's so fast.
Yeah, and he could shoot from just about anywhere. I really like this kid. That's the one I want. Second, I would really love a DeAndre Ayton, but finding a good center is very rare in today's NBA.
So y'all are picking what?
2. We'll probably pick 2 or 1.
You'll probably pick 1 or 2. Do you realistically think that your team's gonna pick Luka Doncic over?
I don't. I think that they'll pick the pure. I think
Bagley?
we might. It'll be Bagley, Porter, Ayton. Depends if Bamba starts putting on weight and starts, Bamba has a 7'9" wingspan at the end of the day.
He's a monster. He's very uncoordinated, though.
Yeah, very uncoordinated. But Kevin Durant was extremely uncoordinated while
Clay
he was
Capella,
in Texas.
very uncoordinated. You see what he's doing this year. So you're putting your who you want is Luka Doncic, and you think they're going to get, if they get, say, the 2 seed, they're going to get
Marvin Bagley.
And would you be okay with that as a Mavs fan?
Yeah, kind of. He's a physical anomaly at the end of the day, but he plays power forward, right? Doesn't have the wingspan that I would want in a power forward.
And just what school does he play for, Austin?
He plays for Duke.
Wait, let them all hear it.
He plays for Duke.
Duke.
Yeah, he plays for Duke, unfortunately. Duke's probably gonna have 4 people go in the top 25 at the end of the day. I mean,
Because they're the best.
and then their low life leader, Grayson Allen, will probably go in the second round.
He's misunderstood.
Misunderstood. You like Baker Mayfield. You like Grayson Allen.
I love Brian Cushing.
PD piece. Well, anyway, I mean, all right. Well, that's just about all we honestly have to talk about today.
Yep.
We're always going to end our shows with basically not necessarily a would you rather, but what's more likely to happen.
Small prop bet.
Yeah. What's more likely to happen, Matthew? Chris Paul's finals appearance or Dirk Nowitzki retires?
Well, as I just said previously, I think that the Rockets will win this year. However, Dirk Nowitzki's season is going to end before the conference finals, and I think he's done. I think with the moves that they're making, the draft pick that they're getting, I think that if he does not go, then it will be a mistake for y'all. So I'm going to say Dirk Nowitzki leaves, and then a few weeks later, Chris Paul makes it to the conference championship.
No, I said finals, not conference championship.
Well, he's going to the finals.
All right, I'm going to say Dirk retires, but my NBA finals matchup is still Celtics Warriors.
The Celtics. Ugh.
Celtics Warriors. I mean, that's what I have. I'm guessing you have Cavs Rockets.
Oh yeah, and then it's no contest after that.
I think
The NBA Finals is the Western Conference Finals, hands down.
that's the way the AFC Championship was throughout the 2000s. At the end of the day,
It's honestly what we all thought it was going to be this year. We thought that the AFC Championship game this year was the Super Bowl, and then it all happened.
yeah. Well, that's the end of episode 1.
Yeah.
This is weird.
Do we want to tell them about our little friend that we're going to be introducing after this, or should we save it till next week?
Let's save Prez till next week.
All right. Well, Prez will be coming at y'all next week and every week after that. So
Shout out to Theodore Roosevelt.
Teddy D.
All right, y'all. This has been Double Coverage, and we'll see y'all next week.